up, everybody? It's your boy BobeBlaze, and I'm gonna sit down and go over the list of movies that I will be watching throughout October. A lot of people know and share the same belief that this is the best time of year. Halloween's coming up; it's right around the corner. Actually, probably about a month from today, whenever I drop this video. And I know a lot of people do the same thing where they do like a 31 days of Halloween movie marathon. This year, we kind of mapped out a calendar week by week, theme by theme, how we want to do it. And it's going to kind of go around some of the things that we have planned also for October. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of just talk over the movies that I'm going to go ahead with you. And as I go over them, tell you a little bit about the movies. Some of you guys might have seen a lot of these movies. Some of these movies, there's only about few on this list that I haven't seen before, that I heard are really good movies, and they fit in with the theme of what we'll be talking, or what movies we'll be watching that week. And then there's a couple that I'll add to it. I posted this list online, so anybody who did see it, it was only about 3 weeks into it, or maybe even 2 weeks into it, and I added a few things here and there, and there was a few things that were going to be added to it once I knew like the release date and stuff, and if I'd be able to go see them around that time. When I broke it down into themes, like I was saying, we did almost a different theme. Well, at least two different weeks are a full just one thing. But the first week, going right into that, is Horrors Week. And we have 2 Horrors Weeks all together throughout the month. And Horrors Weeks are made up of general horror. Aliens, fucking, creepy mythology type shit. And in these, in my movie-wise, it's not going to be in any particular order also. We'll actually probably watch whatever ones that we have, either on DVD or already downloaded or on Netflix or something, and then whatever else we could watch, like on the Fire Stick or Pickup or whatever. But one that I'm adding to the list this year, which is one of my new, more favorite type of horror movies that's came out over the last couple of years. Came about 3 years ago. It's It Follows. For those of you who have seen it, maybe you share the same opinion as I do. I think it's a really cool concept. For those of you who haven't, I don't really want to spoil it too much. Basically this thing's, passed on through sex, which is really fucking cool. It's a cool concept. You gotta watch it. It makes it more in touch with the modern times, and it's a really good movie, and it's creepy as fuck. And that fits underneath our general horrors of things that we'll be watching throughout that week, that are just generally scary. Another one that I added to it, and I was asked why I added just Child's Play 2 and not Child's Play 1 or any other ones. Just like 2 weeks ago, we watched Child's Play 1, and we were talking about how Child's Play 2 is one of the more better ones in my opinion. So we'll be watching that in there, and that fits under the general horror too of dolls coming to life, and everyone's afraid of like porcelain dolls or regular dolls or whatever, Raggedy Ann, and Annabelle being a big one, but we're really not too much into. So we're gonna go old school classic and run with Child's Play 2. So that's part of the general horrors. And we also have when I was saying aliens, one of my favorite alien contact movies is Fourth Kind. It's a very, very creepy alien type movie where there's supposedly actual footage and stuff in certain parts of it, at least of a therapy sessions and such. When we first watched the movie, we were sleeping one night, and all of a sudden our TV in the living room just started squealing, making this crazy ass noise, and then never worked again after that. And we were like, oh shit, the aliens are onto us because we watched this movie. So I've always thought it was a really, really, really scary one. 2 of the other ones that we'll be watching under the general horrors movies, or general horrors week 1, will be A Quiet Place, which I've never seen. I've only heard a little bit about. So we have nothing, we're not really sure what to expect, so we threw it in the general horrors category, and we'll be checking that out sometime over the first week of October. And also Devil's Candy. Apparently I watched the trailer for it, but I don't really remember watching the trailer for it, and that's when I added it to the list. But we'd watched the trailer recently, and supposedly it's really good, and I've seen it on a couple other lists of highly recommended, and I've never seen it before, so I thought it'd be something really cool to go ahead and add to the list then. Throughout that week, that will be the first week of October, our plans have kind of changed to where it'll be the weekend that I'm filming this video this weekend that we'll be going to our local haunted house's first week on opening. It's called Haunted Hills Hospital, and it's now out of Lake Station, Indiana. It originated in a backyard of these people. So we plan on going to spend, it would be actually tomorrow night while I'm filming this video, and then we're going to go, a couple of us are going to go out to Haunted Hills Hospital. For week 2, we went ahead and we called it Ghost Week. We picked this theme because on week 2, me and a couple of my friends will be traveling out to Ashmore, Illinois, to the Ashmore Estates, and we're going to do a paranormal activity or a paranormal investigation. My buddies have went through this place before, not the same place, but another spot, and it's going to be like a lock-in type situation. And so we figured what better theme to have for this week leading up to it than Ghost Week. We went ahead and we picked up a couple of our favorites, because there really is a lot of ghost movies or paranormal movies. I mean, we could have went right off the jump and did like Paranormal Activity or whatever, but we started with one of our favorites would have to be The Others. We thought it was a really, really awesome shock when you found out, all about the movie. It was a really good one, and my views on a lot of paranormal are that there's definitely stuff like that happening. And then we went a little bit the more scary route, and we decided to go with Conjuring 1 and 2. The Conjuring scared the crap out of both of us when we went first saw it in the theater, and I feel like I just recently watched the second one, but I know that there was a time before that. And they were both really, really good. That second one was fucking creepy as fuck then too. But the first one I remember, man, it really, really got me. I remember being in the theater, like genuinely like anxious while watching it. Another one that I haven't really watched much, and I always I think about, damn, this, if this happened to me, I don't know how I would handle it. But it's 1408 with John Cusack and Samuel L. Jackson. We added that one to the list. Haven't seen it in a while. It's a haunted place. I plan on sleeping in one of the most haunted places of this place that we're going to, so we kind of want to get into it by watching 1408. If you haven't seen it, it's a really good one. I was going to read the book before because I heard the book was even better, but I never got a chance to do it. But I heard the movie is very good. Can't wait to watch that again. And it's something else to add into the ghost things. One of our big suggestions, even though we've watched it so many times, is The Shining. Another haunted place, ghosts making you do some evil shit, and it's a classic. So that's added into the list. And then we added something that we had never seen before, but we'd seen on other people's lists, and it was recommended. It was called Session 9. Heard it's a really, really good ghost paranormal movie, so we're going to go ahead and add that to it. And that will lead up, or wrap up Ghost Week, because on the Friday we will travel up to Ashmore, Illinois, and spend the night in the third most haunted place in Illinois, and in the top 50 in the United States. So as the time goes on, I'm getting a little bit more nervous for it. I'm also pretty excited. And then if you watch our YouTube channel, we'll have a whole video from that, and we'll probably go live from our social media, or at least updates from social media when that happens. So if you're watching this video before October 10th, then I'm getting the dates wrong, but it's like the Friday, October 12th then or something, and we'll be live at Ashmore Estates, so make sure you guys check that out. Going into week 3 brings us back to a horrors week, a general horror week. A couple of favorites added into this one that necessarily weren't one specific genre or the other besides horror. We went right off with Trick or Treat. Instead of waiting till the very end of October, we're kicking it. I mean, and like I said, these aren't in a particular order or anything, But this week we will be watching Trick or Treat, which is became a cult classic, and it's a very, very good movie. One that I've only seen a couple of times. My little sister swears that if I didn't add it to my list, I'd be crazy. And it was in my list last year. But this year it's moved back a couple of weeks farther away from Halloween, actually. And throughout that week, we added a couple more, and I think in another week or so we might have. No, this probably was it. But we added a couple of ones that we could just, watch with our son then also. So we are doing Monster Squad and Beetlejuice this week. Monster Squad and Beetlejuice, but Monster Squad was like, is the classic horror movie for kids especially. So it's that good kickstart horror, even though our son is already a little too deep in the genre than we'd like to admit maybe. But then Beetlejuice also, which is the classic, and that's going to be in that week as a general horror. But then we're going to throw in a couple more horror bangers in there, and we're going to do Dawn of the Dead. And right now, it's up in the air whether we're going to do the classic George A. Romero or do the remake from 2004. The remake is a scary-ass movie because no one's surviving those zombies. When I was a little kid, I was put on to the Romero flicks, Night of the Living Dead and Dawn of the Dead, but Dawn of the Dead was the one that really, fucked me up. Seeing these, blue skin zombies, it was fucked up. Seeing a real body would be like that, I don't know, that one fucked me up a lot, and I love it. So it might actually be that one that we'll watch instead of the remake, which is just, really just as good, just a lot more shocking. And then one that has escaped my list the last 2 years is Event Horizon. I haven't seen it in a long time, and I remember the last time I did, being young, it did scare the shit out of me. So I did just have, we were just going to watch it recently, but instead we're going to go ahead and save it now and watch that sometime throughout week 3, our general horrors week. This week, the 3rd week then of October, I'll be going to see the Insane Clown Posse. You guys will know that tour that's coming through, fucking ICP. It will be in Fort Wayne, Indiana, on their Hallowicked tour, the 25th anniversary at that. I will not be able to make it to Hallowicked, so I'm going to go ahead and check it out in Fort Wayne, which is about a 3-hour drive from here. And that'll be, it's on a fucking Wednesday or some shit, but of course we'll be going live from our YouTube channel for that, or our social media for that, and then have video on our YouTube channel. But it's gonna be Waka Flocka and fucking ICP, so that's gonna be cool as fuck. And that's just something else, we're trying to do a bunch of cool ass shit in October, because October is the fucking favorite time of the year and all that, you know what I'm saying? As we get into week 4, this one I'm super fucking excited about. Really, really excited about week 4. Week 4 is Witches Week. I feel like witches nowadays, there's a lot more movies that are making witches as scary as they should be. So I'm really, really excited to do Witches Week now. A couple of movies that we're going to add to it, and one of them is going to change it depending on the theater release of it, but we're going to watch the classic, of course, with the kids, Hocus Pocus. So we're gonna really tread lightly in the beginning of the week as we dip our feet into the scary ass witches, because then we're going to go into the 90s classic, The Craft. I always loved The Craft, and it did show you how scary, witches could be then, and hot. And then we're gonna also throughout the week, if Suspiria, the remake, is released in our area by then, we will be seeing Suspiria the remake. If not, we're gonna watch the original again. If you haven't seen it, it's crazy. Everyone's saying that about the new one, or the remake, but I felt like the original was just as weird, or I haven't seen it yet, so I can't really speak on it, but the original was weird as fuck. And then one of my new favorite horror movies, again, I know I said it earlier with It Follows, but this also, The Witch. I feel like The Witch was done superb. It's definitely one of my favorite horror movies right now, especially in that kind of the witch theme. It's scary. It's it's definitely worth a watch. If you haven't seen The Witch, you're slacking. It's on Netflix and shit now, so go ahead and make sure you check that out. And then Lords of Salem. And I know Lords of Salem gets a lot of shit, even from like diehards, Rob Zombie fans. To me though, Lords of Salem is dope. I had to watch it 2 times to really. On the second time, I was like, oh yeah, that was good. By the third time, I'm like, fuck yeah. I mean, the movie's like, it's fucked up and it's terrible. And I'm pretty sure that one part of it, like, you might go to hell for watching. But it's fucked up, you know. But it's a really solid movie, and witches are just scary as hell. So we're giving witches a whole week. I often call my girlfriend a witch. She's got 5 sisters. There's 5 of them all together. She's left-handed. You know what I'm saying? There's definitely some witch shit going on. They all could like feel each other's fucking brainwaves and stuff. So we've dedicated the whole week to witches. Witches Week will be the 4th week of October, which will be bringing us to the last few days of the month. And we're gonna go hard the last few days of the month. I know a lot of people are like, oh, dude, you know, there's no Halloween movies in there. I'm here. There really should be. These are the movies that, you know, you watch all the time, you know? And we actually have a backlist that we just watched a few other Halloweens. Even Season of the Witch, which is my new favorite Halloween movie. I gave it so much shit as a kid, and I gave it so much shit as growing up. But man, it's a fucking awesome Halloween movie. That'll be something that'll be still added into our mix. The movies that I'm giving you right now are are for sure, absolutely, we're gonna watch these. These are gonna be movies that we sit down to watch that night. But then there's gonna be those filler movies, and there's gonna be the movies that we saw 100 times. That'll be the filler ones. The original Halloween 2. But on this list, Halloween week, we will be doing Halloween 4 and 5. I thought those are like some of my favorites. Besides 1 and 2. With the Michael Myers anyway are some of my favorite. I really enjoy those 2, so we'll watch those, and those will be a double feature. And then we'll watch Halloween 2 Rob Zombie. I love Rob Zombie's version of Halloween 1 and 2. You have to watch the right one that says 2 years later or whatever instead of just the 1 year later, so it actually makes a little bit more sense. But I do like it. I don't like it as much because it does become its own story, and you know, you weren't really expecting that, but it is. I watch it every year, and it's gonna go ahead and be a Halloween week movie because it takes place, you know, for Halloween and shit, and it's fucking gory and it's violent and it's scary. That rendition of Michael Myers is genuinely scary. Also throughout Halloween week, one of the movies, and I never see it on anybody's list, and I think after this video, everyone's gonna have it on their list. But I hardly ever see anybody watch or have this on their list. But every single Devil's Night, since I was able to, you know, when you were a kid, you hope it was on Stars or HBO or some shit. But since I downloaded it or I got the DVD on my shelf behind your view, I watched The Crow every single night, every Devil's Night, every year. You have to. If you don't watch The Crow on Devil's Night, is it really Halloween? It's for those. I mean, if you haven't seen The Crow and you're watching this movie, that's fucking a shock, and you need to stop this right now and go watch The Crow. But in that movie, yes, it takes place Devil's Night. Infamous Devil's Night. That's where you learn the real meaning of Devil's Night in the Midwest. Just at, you know, in Detroit, just 4 miles away, they light the town on fire, the city on fire every night, every Devil's Night. You hear it in the ICP songs. You know what the fuck it's all about. If you haven't seen The Crow, that's fucking crazy. But watch that every single Devil's Night. Ever since I was a kid. I was The Crow probably for like 3-4 fucking Halloweens when I was a kid. And then on actual Halloween night, it's been a tradition as much as I can also. We gotta watch Night of the Living Dead. and that's usually how we'll wrap up Halloween and roll into the next morning. Sometimes I go to sleep watching Night of the Living Dead or Halloween again, but it's usually Night of the Living Dead is what I wrap up Halloween with, because it's the Night of the Living Dead. And I do the 1990s version color. That was like one of the first like scary zombie movies for me. I used to watch it all the time when I was a little kid. It's fucking my favorite of all the zombie movies, really. Night of the Living Dead, or not the original, in the color, with fucking Candyman and shit as Ben, you know. But those are the movies that we are gonna watch. Something that else didn't make the list, but I'm sure it will because we found out the release date. It'll be October 19th. The new Halloween comes out, so we will be checking that out, whatever Sunday of the weekend that is. We'll be checking out that new Halloween movie, and then that's added to the list also. So that's why another reason why there wasn't many Halloweens throughout it. But then you see at the end, there's fucking 4 right there that we're gonna watch. The newest one, and then 4 and 5, and then Rob Zombie's Part 2 around Halloween Eve, I believe, or actually Halloween night even, depending on how we work that whole week out. But I know everybody has their own lists, and I want to hear your guys' list, any recommendations, anything that I should have added, anything you're shocked that I added, anything you think's bogus or whatever. Just go ahead and shout those out in the comments. Man, Halloween, we fucking love to do shit over here, as all fucking, you know, juggalos and shit do. So go ahead and, you know, tell us what you guys like to do throughout the month of Halloween, and we'll be doing all kinds of other freshness, you know, our pumpkin carving and all that shit, you know what I'm saying? Make sure you tag us in your pictures of your pumpkins so we can fucking show that shit. But yeah, man, let me hear about your list. This was mine. I'm gonna try to drop some pictures in there for you guys. Let's check out some of the movies that I was talking about if you didn't know about them. But yeah, have a fucking awesome fucking, you know, season of the witch. Till next time, it's your boy BobeBlaze, Midwest United Juggalos. Woo woo.